Hey, what's up guys? Just got back from fishing out of my Hobie Revolution Kayak. Kayak's all muddy, salty, needs a good cleaning. So I thought I'd make a quick video showing how I clean my kayak and the tools that I use to make this process quick and easy. Alright, here's the kayak back from saltwater fishing. There is mud, salt, and the stinkiest crab bait all over this kayak. And I want all of those things cleaned up, especially the salt, because salt is the biggest enemy against metal moving parts, which this kayak has a lot of, especially in the Mirage drive. So we need to get that salt off all of those metal parts. Alright, so here are the things that I use to clean my kayak. I got a hose with a jet setting. That's good for pressurizing the water and blasting off mud and seaweed and all those things that stick to your kayak. I got this from the Dollar Tree. These are just fake ShamWow cloths, but highly absorbent, good for getting water out of the hull. Here's a brush, also from the Dollar Tree. By the way, this video is not sponsored by the Dollar Tree. I just go there just because it's cheap. But yeah, brush with a good handle, scrubbing stuff off the kayak, mud, anything that gets encrusted on the kayak. This is a bilge pump. Every kayaker should have one of these, not only for bilging yourself out of bad situations, but this is also good for getting water out of the hull. And this is another useful thing. This is a water squirter from the Dollar Tree. So I use this to get water out of the hull as well as water out of any other places. And then this is a bucket. Any type of bucket will do. Alright, so step one, use pressurized water. Give your kayak a good rinse. This will loosen up any mud, guts, bait, whatever you have on your kayak. And also take this time to focus on the metal parts of your kayak, like these pedal drive mounts, any stainless steel tracks, screws, whatever you may have, including the oars, the seats, and the rest of the kayak. Alright, so next step is to make a little bit of soapy water. For this, I'm using laundry detergent. I'm just using a couple of drops, and then I'll dilute it with a lot of water. This will help break down any blood, guts, whatever might be really stuck onto your kayak when we're brushing. Next step, scrub-a-dub-dub. Alright, now we're going to rinse off the soap and whatever stuff that might still be on your kayak. Again, focusing on metal parts and anything that's stuck. Alright, so the other part about cleaning a kayak is you got to clean the inside of the kayak as well. And what that involves in the Hobie Revolution is you got these hatches, right? And these hatches will have sand and dirt that builds up on the side of this thing, side of this wall, as well as the O-ring here that's supposed to seal it. And what usually happens when you have a lot of sand and gravel and whatnot is this thing doesn't close. It doesn't close the right way. You'll feel it won't go all the way in. So what you gotta do is you just gotta blast this stuff off, wipe it down, wipe the O-ring down, and then it'll close right. As far as cleaning the inside of the kayak, what I do is I just stick the hose in there, and then I just blast water all inside. And the water will go all the way down to the front of the kayak. And from there, that's where I use the bilge pump. You can pump this thing out. So what some guys do when they clean the inside of their kayak is they got a bunch of water inside, and then they got to drain it. Well, Hobie does give you this little drain plug here, right here. I painted mine green so I don't lose it. Also to make sure it's still in there when I go out. But that involves lifting this kayak upside down, tipping it. It's a pretty heavy kayak. So the way I do it is I actually just let all the water stay in the front, have the wheels up like so, water drains up in the front, and then I use the bilge pump and the water squirter to get all the water out of here so that this kayak can be stored in a dry condition. After you're done rinsing the inside of the kayak, you're going to have a big puddle of water inside the front hole. And from here, that's a lot of water. This is about 3 inches of water in here. When you have this much water in your kayak, you want a bilge pump. Or if you have a wet vac, that'd be nice too. Alright, let's start building. And this thing will pump the front of this kayak empty in probably about 20 pumps or so. So when you're doing this, there's going to be sand, there's going to be dirt and stuff in here. Use the bilge pump to suck all that stuff out and pump it out of your kayak. Alright, so once you're done building the well in the front of your kayak, you're going to have about probably 2 cups of water left in there at the very nose. So to get that little bit of water out in there, you use this thing, the water squirter. Take this, stick it in the nose, suck out all the water. Okay, once you're done with that a couple times, then you just have a little bit of water left in here, and that's where the pot comes in. Just give it a good wipe down, soak up all this little bit of water, and then you're pretty much good. And what I do when I store my kayak away is I keep my kayak upside down, and then I'll also leave this hatch open, and I'll use the pedal drive cable, keep the hatch open, and that'll allow the inside to dry out. Alright, so for the pedal drive, I usually do a quick inspection after every trip, or especially when I'm cleaning the kayak itself. What I'm looking for is to make sure that there's not any rust on the chains right here, or the screws, or the cables. Any part that's metal, I check for rust. You know, also here's a good time to check. It's good to keep a mental image of how much thread you have here on the nuts itself. So if you notice that these nuts start backing out, which they do, what you want to do is tighten them. And then check your cable tension. Make sure there's enough cable tension here and here. Here as well. These cables should not be loose when you press on them. So if they are loose, just adjust these nuts to the proper tension. Make sure your drive adjustments are loose and ready. If these are stuck, then there's something wrong. You need to clean them. That's pretty much what I do for a quick inspection of the pedal drive. Alright guys, I'll end this video with something my dad taught me. He taught me if I clean my tools, they'll last me much longer. Alright, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.